Uh, Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the DWS Career Solutions website session being presented by Tina Height. My name is Matthew Rincon. I'll be monitoring the webinar today. Before we begin, please make sure to note that the chat box on your right will be used for communication. So if you need to communicate with me or the speaker, or you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box. Also, you can remember you can maximize the window that you choose by double clicking on it, and that'll make it a little bit larger for you. If no one has any questions, I'll go ahead and turn over the mic to Tina.
Okay, great. Thanks, Matt.
No problem.
And I apologize. I am turning my camera off because it seems to be interfering with the audio. So since we have the slides, it's more important that you see them than you see me. This is an overview of the Department of Workforce Solutions Career Solutions website. It's a lot of solutions in there. And it should click. There we go. But before we jump into the website, just a couple of reminders. If you have an NMDelt account, you already have access to myworkplace.com. This is, it's actually by Facebook. So it functions just like Facebook, but it does not attach to anything personal of yours. So it is just that workplace. You can use it to communicate with your students. You can use it to communicate with colleagues. And I'm definitely promoting this classroom teachers group so that even after the conference, we can keep the topics going and the conversation going and continue to help each other. On the screen are the instructions for requesting an NMDelt account if you don't already have one. And the other things that you get with an NMDelt account include the state purchase licenses for Nearpod and Screencast-O-Matic. And the NMDelt account is a G Suite for Education account, so advanced features of Google Classroom and other Google tools and unlimited storage on Google Drive are also included with that account. We also have out there the professional development survey. I will email out these links again. You should have already gotten them in your email. If you haven't, make sure you get your email address to me. And you can send me an email. It's just very simple, tina@nmdelt.org. But we have the professional development survey. We really want to hear from you about your skills, your interests, and your needs, and this will help us in professional development planning. We also have the motivational coaching for adult education course coming up. It starts next week. It is not too late to register. So a lot of the things that I've heard today in helping our students and overcoming some of their struggles as they try to continue their education, and especially online. This approach can help them work out their own solutions by using powerful questions. The implicit bias session that I was just in, we do a whole section on implicit bias and how that affects us as well as others. So you can register at this link. It's sites.google.com/nmdelt.org/coaching. So in the chat, I would like you to tell us what you are doing, if you're doing anything right now to help students with career exploration. Are you using any tools? Are you just having a conversation with them? So if you are currently doing anything, and you could just put nothing, if you're using nothing and doing nothing for career exploration, that's okay too.
I don't see anything in the chat yet, Tina.
I am not seeing anything in the chat. I know there's a bit of a delay. There we go. So now we're seeing some things. So Susan Nelson says career coach. Burlington English has career online books. My Next Move, the career coach. ONET. So great, some great tools that are already out there. So this is just our connection with Workforce Solutions. ONET, personalized, okay, great. So some good things that you're already doing. So let me just help you explore one of the others. So first we're going to go to why I work. And you are welcome to do this along with me in on your computer. So Matt, if you could put that link in the chat. So this is a part of the Career Solutions website and why I work. And I usually start here because people want to know about money. So this helps our students develop a budget and see how much do they need to make in order to live the kind of life they want to lead. Now, I've noticed we have some ESL people, the mention of Burlington English, and then Gloria also says she teaches ESL. So this may be a little bit difficult for some of your ESL students, but I will let you judge that. It is not available in other languages. Now, the other thing is that this is New Mexico's Department of Workforce Solutions website. So it is very New Mexico focused. So I want to choose a city that I want to live in. It's not letting me choose somewhere out of state. So I'm going to do somewhere a little bit, not too remote, but let me go to Socorro today. So when I choose the city, Workforce Solutions has done some research, and on average, owning a home is going to be about $1,034 a month. Two-bedroom apartment, we see the price there, or a one-bedroom apartment. Living at home, $0. Notice that mom and dad in the background don't seem real happy about that, so you might want to have a different plan. Interesting that I did this for a different city yesterday, and the efficiency was not grayed out, but here an efficiency apartment is blanked out. So apparently, if I try to live in Socorro, I'm probably not going to find an efficiency. So I'm going to choose a house. I like to live in a house. And go on to the next question. I'm going to need internet. I'm going to need water. I'm not too big on cable. I'm going to need natural gas. I need a mobile phone. I need electricity. It's very interesting to me that a landline phone is not a given choice. You can put an editable amount in there, and you can also edit this. Let's say I know my internet is more than that. I know my water is more than that right now. So you can edit your amounts. And so you can let your students do that as well if they know what they are. Okay. And I'm moving through this very quickly. You can take your time later and really play with this. So I'm just going to, most of the time, use the given amounts. So I'm going to eat at home at $300 a month. For our students who like to eat out all the time, they can see the difference in the price. If I eat at home, it's only $300 a month. If I eat at restaurants all the time, it's going to be $550 a month. What kind of transportation are you going to use? A luxury car? Used car? Is a bus even available in Socorro? I don't know. Or am I going to ride my bike and walk? I am going to choose the used car. Okay. And I'm going to make, and this, I'm not only going to make the assumption, I'm going to read the instructions. This includes the cost of insurance, gas, and maintenance. So we're not talking about just the car payment. That includes all of the expenses for having a vehicle. Okay. Clothing. How much do you usually spend for clothing and accessories, etc.? I'm pretty thrifty, $75 a month. Now, keep in mind, we're working on a monthly budget. So $75 a month sounds more than reasonable to me. I'm going to want, I want an employer insurance plan, but this is really important for those with entrepreneurial aspirations. They may want to look at a self-pay insurance plan, right? Or having no insurance. So there is a cost for healthcare, even if you're not carrying insurance. And the research here is it averages $292 a month. If I'm living in Socorro. I need dental and vision care. And other personal stuff. I'm just going to go for the basics. Entertainment. I'm going to mostly do at-home stuff. Gadgets. Ooh, I may need lots of gadgets. I have a pet, so pet care is going to cost me something. And I'm going to put some vacation money. I'm going to say I do want some gadgets, but I don't want to spend $150 a month. I'll spend $50 a month. Okay. Now, here's where your education comes into play as well. If they're going to continue their education, there's going to be a cost. Financial aid doesn't cover everything, and you can assume that it does, and then you can change the amounts. That's okay. But if I want to get a bachelor's degree from a public institution, I'm probably looking at another $662 a month. Okay, or I can enter a custom amount. So this may make your students think a little bit more. They won't just click through this as quickly as I am. You want them to think about how do they want to live? What are their real expenses going to be? And it's interesting that we wait until the end to get to savings. Don't we always do that? Savings is like the last thing on our list. And I'm just going to be conservative and do 5% of my expenses, not my income. But 5% of my expenses is $169 a month. Okay, and now you can see up at the top, my total expenses per month are $3,556 and no pennies. Notice I've got no credit cards. I don't have anything really extravagant. So those are some other things people might have to consider. And this really was intended for use for young people, but our adults can get a lot of information out of it as well. So here's my expenses. So that means that my annual expenses are $42,672, and I'm going to have to pay taxes on that. And DWS is estimating that taxes are going to be about 25% of our expenses. So the annual salary I need is $53,340. Again, this assumes that it's just me. We haven't talked about any children involved. We haven't talked about a significant other or spouse who's sharing expenses, or who may be a dependent. So everything is relative. And so you may have them think about those things and go back and adjust their budget accordingly. Like if somebody is going to pay half of my utility expenses, I can knock that down a little bit to figure out how much I need to make. But my goal now is to make $53,340 a year. I can go straight from here to the occupation finder and notice who has it. Susan said she uses ONET and Curtis as well. So this takes us to ONET information. And it is, again, specific to New Mexico. Excuse me. And when I go down here to the wage requirement, I can select my wage requirement. And to get to my $53,000, I'm going to go, let's go to 50. I'll go down a little bit, right? I need to make at least $24 an hour or more. So these are jobs we can see what's available just based on budget. So nothing else. This doesn't take anything into consideration about my interests or my skills or my current education. It only tells me what's available based on salary. So I could be an acute care nurse, and they're in alphabetical order, right? You can change the order as well. But we're going to do some more of that. So you can see there are other factors that you can take into consideration, but we'll look at this page again after we do a little bit more. And Amy's mommy lives in Socorro, so we are looking to go live with Amy's mommy. Okay, great. So from the Why I Work page, I'm going to move over to the main Career Solutions page. So this link is just nmcareersolutions.com. And you can see that Why I Work is included here. But I start there because I think it gets students interested and engaged in what they want to make and how they want to live. So thinking about how they want to live before they think about the career can be helpful. It doesn't really matter. It's my personal preference. You can do it either way. But now we can go into the career exploration tools also provided by Department of Workforce Solutions. The other thing I want you to notice is up here in the upper right-hand corner, I'm in as a guest. I would encourage your students to create an account. Now I'm doing this and I'm just playing with it. I'm not doing it for me. But if they create an account, it saves all of this information. And when the information saves, then they can also go to their local Workforce Connections site and talk with their job developers and say, look, these are the tools that I've used, and that person can go over this with them in more depth than we are able to because we're not trained in this, right? But we can at least use the tools to help students get started, and then they can use the same tools as they're transitioning into those workforce training programs or into the actual careers. So this is our career exploration worksheet, and notice it starts with our career exploration, our work interests, our values, and then why I work. So we'll go through this. So this is our work analyzer. If you've taken it before, you can just enter your scores. Because this is very short, I'm going to go ahead and walk through this. again, you are welcome and encouraged to do this with me. But I'm just going to do the mini form. The longer form will probably give you better information, but I'm just going to do the mini form because it's supposed to take 5 minutes if we read them all. But I'm going to do this thing where I'm just going to make sure I click one in every one. And I am not even reading the questions. And the thing you have to let your students know is that they don't have to overanalyze these. The first one is, you know, do you like building kitchen cabinets? Well, I don't know. I might like building kitchen cabinets, but I've never tried that. So to the best of their abilities and their thoughts, to think about it, do you think you might like to build kitchen cabinets? And to rate it that way. So I'm going to have a score here that's going to be kind of all over the place because I was just clicking things. But it looks like I scored highest in social. But I'm also enterprising and conventional. That's very interesting. A little bit artistic. Okay. So now I have that score. So I can go to next. And it takes me back to our occupation finder page. So now on the assessment match, I can say I want everything that has a strong connection to my interests. So now I can have my interests and my wage requirement. And I have a little bit better information. Okay. So again, there are lots of things here you can click on. How is the outlook? How many job openings are there going to be? What education does it require? What's the current openings? And if I click on the current openings, well, let me go ahead and do that. Maybe. Well, this worked yesterday, Matt. Apparently there are not 7 job openings because it did not find anything.
Maybe a big city.
Huh?
Maybe a bigger city would have some.
Maybe a bigger city has more job openings. Maybe it's because I'm choosing Socorro, right? And actually, this is New Mexico. So once I get here, so the why I work goes to the specific city, but the occupation finder is for the whole state. And it gives you a job description. So there's a lot of information here. But really what I wanted to do, why do I have this open so many times? Is to continue with the tools that we have at the Career Solutions Works website. All right. Oh, I know. Here's my dashboard. Here's my career exploration. So now I can also do the values assessment. So this is a card sort, and it takes a little bit more time. So you want to have your students read each card before they get started, and it's going to require you to go through them. Notice I am speed reading. No, I'm not reading. But I did this earlier. And then I can begin the values analyzer. So each card that comes up, I'm going to say, is this most important to me, very important, moderately important, or moderate important, important, or least important? Now, notice that this only gives you 4 options for each one. And there are 20 cards. So each card is going to be in 1 square. So when I started this, I did, oh, this is going to be really important. But then I had another one that went, oh no, that's important. That's most important. Maybe I should move that. So I had to move them over. So this is a drag and drop. So as far as digital literacy, you're going to have to be sure that your students can drag and drop. And again, I am just dropping things in here without paying much attention. Okay. So now I have a score on my values analyzer. So hopefully, so now I have my work interests. So I want to make that strong. And I have my work values. Oops, you have to wait for the thing to load completely. So I want something that matches my interests and matches my values. Oh, that didn't work very well. So I may have to go to moderate. Well, I could be a teacher. That would probably work for me. But so that I can get more results, I'll just say moderate and check that out. I still only have 1 option here. I like my values better than my interests. So what happens if I change that? Wow. I'm only coming up with 1 occupation. So I hope that you are able to come up with more occupations than I am. But it looks like, you know, there are going to be 22 openings in the next year, though that there are no current openings. And I'll need a doctoral degree, so I better get to work. Anyway, I'm going to get rid of my interests. There we go. So that gives me at least more jobs to look at. I think the problem here is I still have a high wage requirement. So maybe if I lowered my wage requirement, then I would get more things in my interest. So let's try that. No. All right. I had to go to low to my interests to get more. Oh, or none, right? And that's probably just because I did that in such a haphazard manner. I can choose my career path, right? So maybe by career cluster, I am interested, this is going to be obvious, in education and training. And then I can get down to a pathway. Let me do professional support. And you can keep narrowing this down. So again, this is how you can help your students to help narrow it down, and especially to be specific in New Mexico. When Matt and I were rehearsing yesterday, one of the things that came up was an insurance actuary, which pays pretty well, but there are not very many openings in New Mexico. So you'd have to be pretty competitive. to get that 1 or 2 openings that exist. So looking at the demand, looking at the outlook, those are things that can really help our students determine what they would like to go into. So that's it for my overview. Do we have any questions, or did you find anything interesting?
I don't see any questions in the chat. I did post the Career Solutions link in the chat session, so if you're interested, you can click on it and then, or you can also copy and paste.
You can get to everything from the New Mexico Career Solutions website. Thanks, Susan. I think it really is a good website. I like that it can take both your interests and your values and come up with some careers that you might be interested in. I know I heard from one teacher, an experience was a student who started out, I just want to be a receptionist. That's all I want to do. But she already had 4 kids and a single mom. And did the why I work to figure out what kind of budget she would need, that she wasn't going to be living in an apartment forever, and she wanted a house. And so that took a little bit more money. Well, maybe then I should be an administrative assistant. And using the tools, she finally got up to, wow, I could be a, now I've forgotten what it was, something like a network administrator and make over $100,000 a year. She said, really? I could make over $100,000 a year? Well, yeah, with the right education and experience, you certainly can. It may take some time for you to get there. But it took her from, I just want to be a receptionist, to thinking about higher goals and what does she really want to do, because she also found that that was something she was really interested in. And you're right, Susan, I don't know what all the options are. The job market is changing so rapidly. And I know I've attended conferences where they talk about the students who are entering kindergarten now are going, by the time they leave high school, are going to be entering jobs that don't even exist yet. So those things are changing all of the time. So to know what is available, what's out there.
I do like the budget part. I think it would be a good reality check so a student can see what they need to plan for if they want a certain standard of living or pick a career that would lead them towards that.
Absolutely. And keeping in mind that using those tools that are developed by the Department of Workforce Solutions and giving them access to this, we may be a little more patient with our students, a little bit, be able to guide them a little bit more, because we have more time with them, right? And the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, we are required partners. So the more that we can do to work with our partners and have our students engaged with both of us, preferably at the same time, the better off our programs will be. And, you know, my big thing is the better off our students will be. We can provide more quality services if we have the same knowledge and are sharing tools. Well, great. If there are no other questions, we can end the session early.
Okay, I don't see any other questions. I did post the session survey link in addition to the motivational coaching course and the professional development survey. So those links are in the chat.
Great. So we got lots of links for you to explore. And if you ever need any assistance, please don't hesitate to contact me. If I don't have the answer, I'll find somebody who does. So you can do that through my email, tina@nmdelt.org. I'm also available on Google Hangouts and Google Chat almost all the time. So if you have a quick question, don't hesitate to send me a quick message, and I usually respond within a few minutes, unless I'm in a meeting like this, and then it may take a little longer.
I did post your email in the chat as well, Tina.
I did see that, Nat. Thank you very much. All right. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll get on to our next dance break here.